Hey everybody, Dr. Stephen Cabral here, board certified doctor of naturopathy. Excited to share with you something that I've wanted to talk about honestly for maybe 2, 3, 4 months or so now. That's how long I've been using the hydrogen water machine here that I'm about to share with you. This recommendation came after at least 80 to 100 hours of research. I take my recommendations extremely seriously, but more than that, to be truthful, I want to make sure that I'm doing right by my family. So my wife, my 2 daughters, my little dog, make sure that they are going to be taken care of, that their health for many, many years to come. And I don't like switching out things all the time. Although I'm always experimenting, looking at new things, most of those recommendations never get shared with you. So why would I be recommending hydrogen-based water now? Here's why. Below on this page, you'll see that there's over 30 different scientific studies and references. What I ultimately realized was this, and I have a separate video on all of these things behind you, even some of this antioxidant-based coffee, is what I realized after using an ORP meter and some hydrogen-based drops is that just like the standard American diet, most of the water that we're consuming is doing more harm than good. Even if it's reverse osmosis, like I have right here, with even some minerals added back in, or maybe some healthier mineral-based water, or even a more neutral water like this spring water that still comes in a plastic bottle. So what I found is that 1, I want to create less waste. 2, I don't need to spend money on all of these other things. And 3, I actually want to choose a water, just like I do my food, that's the absolute best for myself and my family. Whenever possible, I choose organic fruits and vegetables for my family. That's the truth. Like, we will spend a little bit more money on organic if possible. Now, we're very fortunate to be able to do that, but that's what we've chosen to spend our money on. And when I was thinking about water, I said, well, why wouldn't I be doing the same then for the best water that I can get? I've always used water filters, right? I've always used air filters. I've always recommended shower filters. I've always recommended water filters. And we've been using the AquaTrue reverse osmosis. Before that, we were using the Berkey water filter. We always try to use best in class. But there's one thing to filter your water. There's another to actually make it a high antioxidant water. And what I did was I then looked for, how do we do that? The research clearly pointed to one thing, and that is hydrogen, molecular hydrogen-based water. It's basically the bubbles that you see in water. Now, regular water is made out of hydrogen, right? H2O, so it already has hydrogen in there. What we're doing is infusing water with more hydrogen. The same way nature intended when you have a babbling brook, when you have a running stream, right? That is pure spring water. The nice thing is, though, we know that there's no bacteria, there's no parasites, there's no et cetera after our water's been filtered, right? So it comes through the tap. This machine is very simple. It hooks up to this one tube. That's all I need to do to my reverse osmosis. And then out of this tube right here comes any pH water that I want, all the way down to 2.5 that I can use for cleaning, 6.0 for a toner for the skin, an acid-based toner, acidic-based toner, 7.0 neutral, good for plants, good for my dog, and then anywhere from 8 to 9 or 9.5 for drinking water, just like this spring water would be. So now I get this out of this machine, but more than the pH, because I'm not recommending this for the pH, which is why I was so skeptical for so long, because I thought it was just about, oh, this just makes high pH water. I'm not into that. I don't need that. Yes, it helps with the absorption of water, but that's not what I'm recommending. But what I found was, especially the new K8, it has 8 platinum dipped titanium plates that charge the water to create more molecular hydrogen. So I'm going to share with you the ORP meter that I have for you here today. And I'm going to share with you all the different beverages I have and what's called their oxidation reduction potential. And so the higher the ORP, oxidation reduction potential, the more free radicals are in that water. So free radicals, sometimes you want it in there if it's your drinking water or pool water. And that's because you don't want necessarily bacteria, or you don't want any pathogens in that water. Now, I'll go over why it's okay when you're using these types of machines, because it's being filtered. But one of the big things is that when you consume that, just like a standard American diet or tap water, or even just plain reverse osmosis, you're taking in more free radicals. So now our body is going to age faster simply because there's going to be more inflammation from free radical-based damage. The way that we combat that is typically through a great diet high in fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables have bright colors, and those colors essentially represent antioxidants, right? So they squelch free radicals. They squelch oxidants in our body. So wouldn't it be pretty amazing if we got our fruits and vegetables, but we also were able to get those antioxidants from water? And those are negative ions that help to squelch essentially the positive ions in the standard American diet and oxidized water. So without further ado, let me go through, let me share with you, and then of course, let us know if there's ever any questions. All right, so the first one today is the Kangen water. This is the machine that ultimately I decided to buy. Purchase with investment was my choice, and it's because it's been around for 47 years. That's the bottom line, only medical-based device, and it's showed to me that it can actually produce hydrogen-based water. And on a separate video, I'll share with you these little blue drops you just add to the water, and it actually, the blue goes away, showing you the hydrogen in the water. So I've proved to myself many, many times, I'm the world's biggest skeptic. I try to be the biggest skeptic for you. So any recommendations I do give, you can be rest assured I've done the research on it. All right. So right now for the ORT meter, it is showing negative, and you want a negative. So you want your fruits and veggies, and you want your water to be at negative, because the negative means there's no oxidation, right? So there's none of that extra oxidizing potential. There's more antioxidants, negative ions, less positive ions. Okay. So this is a negative 81, negative 82. It'll continue to climb. It takes a little while for the negatives because this is used to measuring essentially pool water or negatives. But I will share with you this, is that some people have gotten all the way to negative 500 with their water. I don't. I use a normal pH for drinking water, typically between 7.5 and 9 for drinking water. And usually with meals, you're doing it around 7 to 8, totally normal. But away from meals, you can certainly do 9, 9.5. But again, I'm talking about the molecular hydrogen benefits, not the pH benefits. Okay, so but I'm always honest with you, this is 182. I've gotten up to 270 personally, so a lot of antioxidants. All right, so I have here just some regular reverse osmosis water, and what I'm going to do is just swish it in this, and then I'm going to go over to the Equalife coffee, and we're going to see what the Equalife coffee comes out to be. It is one of the very few liquids that I tested that was a negative beyond the Kangen-based hydrogen water. So it's already down to a 20, a 19. We're going to see how low this goes. Equalife coffee, I've seen it at a negative 70. One time was a negative 50. So it's one of the only coffees that actually has a lot of antioxidants in it. Let me just share with you why, because it's not just Equalife. So again, please understand, it has to do with a polyphenol profile. That means the antioxidants in a fruit or beverage. This is a food essentially, right? Food. It's ground down, but we retain the antioxidants with this style of coffee. All right. So we're already at a negative 14. It will take some time, but these things go down and down and down after you move from the tap water. What I want you to do is I want to invite you. This is not an expensive ORT meter. If you want to get it yourself, it's just called the Milwaukee ORP meter. You can get this on Amazon. I can link it up for you as well. But I want to go through these. These are all, I'm going to do the Icelandic water next. So basically how I chose these are all things that we have in our home. We try to only keep healthy things in our home. So we have reverse osmosis water that we were using previously, and we just add mineral drops back to it. We have Spindrifts. We certainly don't drink a lot of these, but when friends come over and they ask for, Coke or Pepsi or Mountain Dew or whatever it is, we don't have any of those, but we do have this. And so it's carbonated water, raspberry puree, and lime juice. Those are the only things in it. So cheers to Spindrift right here. And then I've got Mountain Valley. So I drink this or Pellegrino. I love a little sparkling water with dinner at night because I don't drink wine. I don't really drink any alcohol almost ever. And then we were drinking some of the Icelandic water, which is it's a very nice spring water overall. So it's from nature and it's a great thing. So on this one right here, we're at about a 26. So you can see, not bad, really not bad at all. Close to almost zero, close to neutral. This is what nature would provide us, or even a little bit negative if we got a running brook or a running stream. So if you knew that that water was not polluted near, like let's say I'm in Maine and there's a stream running and it's going through rocks and sand and all that, and I know that it was free of giardia and all sorts of parasites and pollutants, that would be really high quality water. It's just most of us, including myself, don't have access to that. I'll share with you, this machine though goes through reverse osmosis first. So it purifies out any fluoride, any chlorine, any harmful things in the water, and then it goes through this to be able to add back the hydrogen and the antioxidants. All right, so it's down to a 16. I'm telling you right now, this would be about 0. Now, next up is going to be the Mountain Valley water, which I love, the Pellegrino. It is a mineral-based water, but on this, we start to see it shoot up. And it is now 151. So remember, a positive number contains free radicals. We don't necessarily want them, okay? So it tapped out right about 151. And that doesn't mean I don't drink this water. It does mean, though, that I want to balance that with more antioxidants in my diet. Let's see what Spindrift is. Spindrift is at 189. Again, this reads positive numbers that much easier, about 189, all right? And then we're gonna see what this reverse osmosis tap water is. This will be our last one for today. Typically, my tap water gets up to about 250, 270. If I were to run this right under the tap right here, this one is not reverse osmosis with minerals. That was about 151, by the way, with minerals. And we can see this start to just shoot up. 137, 138, 140, 145. So this one right here is going to get up. It's still climbing without me even doing anything. And now it's settled back in around 168. My tap water is typically about 270. So you can see here, I'll do it one more time for you so you can just see the real difference. So let's just say you're doing tap water yourself. Start to climb 156, 157, 158, 160. And again, just for the sake of this video, typically anywhere between 200 and 270 for tap water. So what I wanted to share with you and really demonstrate for you here today, it's very clear. We've got a positive number, positive number, positive number, neutral, slightly negative, and then very negative. The more negative you go, the more antioxidants or negative ions in that water. What I'm going to do is link up all of the research behind this, which ultimately led me to even doing these experiments in the first place. And then, of course, whatever you decide to do for you and your family is always your choice. But hydrogen water is most likely the wave of the future for the healthiest water that we can consume, simply to combat the 100,000 plus man-made chemicals in the environment that do cause free radical damage in our body. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if there's any questions.